what's the difference between the dosery, I guess, or some of these, and that little free remote app from Apple that controls your Mac and your Apple TV from your iPad?
What's the difference in the use? You mean like that little silver remote?
Well, it's a little free app you put on, it's called Remote, and it comes from Apple, and you control your Apple TV and stuff.
I have to open that up. I don't use the remote.
I don't know.
I can stand up, talk a little bit. That remote app from Apple is free, but it only controls your iTunes library.
Oh, okay.
And it only controls iDevices, but you can't mirror what's on here through that application. You can't connect to another computer and mirror what is seen on there through that application. That remote is really nice, actually. So if you've got tons of songs back on your office computer and you want to play it in a presentation in the same building, you could technically do it. But it would stream all the way through, but it will not show you what's on your desktop. It doesn't relay the visual. It just relays, well, I should take that back. It can play movies from your iTunes and stuff like that, but it's not meant to mirror what's on your desktop.
Does it control your PowerPoints and stuff like that?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
And that's something, again, I think we need to kind of keep in mind that Dosery really is a presentation software. It's really software you should use in the classroom. Where what the app that Mary showed, Splashtop, is more of a remote software that lets you control the computer to do work between you and the computer. It can be used as a presentation software, but it's really not designed quite that way.
And it's still dependent, like you say, on your internet access.
Yes.
Where it is, how you can access it. Yes, ma'am.
I'm more sorry. So, in what situation do I need the Apple TV? I'm confused about that.
Okay. The situation that we're using the Apple TV for here is so that we aren't tethered and we can switch back and forth. We see in the future in the college of education where students are going to have iPads and we'll want them to contribute. So we'll give them the code to key into our Apple TV, which is this little black box right here that we have hooked into this projection system. And they'll be able to do their own presentation, do their own show, make comments or add things or even show something that
So,
they've done.
multi-devices
Yes.
will go through that.
Yes, sure. The four of us are connected to it off and on. It only takes one person at a time, but like, I could take over after he's been on, or I can take over as he's on, actually.
So just having the Apple TV would not do my original question where you said that I needed to go to. Correct.
No.
Apple TV is really a connection between the projector and your iPad.
Yes,
Okay.
and that's what we're using it for.
Okay.
Other question? Yes?
So if I was doing a conference presentation, you know, wherever, and I wanted to use my iPad wirelessly because my presentation was on there, would I have to have the Apple TV?
Yes.
I just hook that up to any projector and it'll work?
Well, you could have a laptop onto a projector.
Right.
Like you had those three.
You could do this. If you had the dosery and a laptop to your projector, you could do that.
If I just brought the iPad instead of bringing a laptop and an iPad with me?
Yes. Matt, any other comments on that?
Really, what the Apple TV does is it takes the connection from here, puts it there, and puts it on the projector.
That's all.
So
That's
goes
all
to
it
there.
does.
If you wanted a computer, which you may already have, a laptop or whatever, and you didn't want to buy an Apple TV, you're going to take your laptop anyway. Dosery or a Splashtop would be a great solution. You don't have to go buy an Apple TV.
For that.
You can, you can control the computer from here. Now, the catch is you cannot show them iPad apps from your iPad in something like Dosery or Splashtop. It doesn't mirror this. What it does is it controls the computer. The Apple TV just mirrors this.
So, in your instance, yes, because if you have your applications and your content here and you want to show it, an Apple TV would do that, providing the network that you're hooking it into will allow that. We've got
That was my next question. And so if there is no wireless network, then it won't work?
That's where a MiFi would come in. You'd have
Yeah.
to provide your own wireless network.
And if you had a MiFi, you could hook it up to it. And you could do that.
It does
We've
have-
actually done that.
It does have an Ethernet port, though.
It does have an Ethernet port, that's true.
And the projector has to have HDMI on the port on, because the Apple TV will only hook up by HDMI, not
I can't
VGA.
hear you, Chris. What?
The projector has to have an HDMI port on it. It won't-
Correct.
The Apple TV won't hook up by VGA or DVI.
It will.
That's DVI right there.
Yeah,
Is that DVI?
yeah,
Okay.
and it's VGA. We got an adapter,
Oh, you did.
and it works. Apple doesn't recommend that, but we're doing it. Yes.
Okay, we're just thinking here about, take an iPad to random conference hotels. If all those fails, can we usually pull an iPad adapter, plug you into a projector, like,
Yes.
okay.
Let's
Sure
why don't you
can.
just go ahead and do that? Why don't you just go ahead and do that? Dennis,
Okay.
just plug your iPad in real quick.
I mean, obviously you lose that mobility, but if you're,
Yes.
standing in front of the room, at least.
Does Apple make a 30-foot version of that? A 30-foot version of the connector?
She's walking around with it?
I'd buy one.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Tethered, you can't move around.
Now, I've got a question. You were talking about MiFi, and having the box or whatever. But if you've already got 3G on your iPad, then you don't need that, right, or not?
Well, that's a good point, is that, so the MiFi does two things for you. One is it gets you internet connectivity into a local network. Okay? But then it also allows you to establish that local network that attaches your iPad, your Apple TV, a computer, things like that together. So just the Apple TV and the iPad won't talk to each other without some third type of device. And that's where the MiFi can come in. So if you didn't need those two to talk to each other, you could just use the 3G on your iPad.
And the one
Or-
thing, we
or
don't think
do
we'll
what
have time to
Dennis
get to today, but if we did, it'd be on AirPrint, because with that same configuration, and we could configure an AirPrint printer to work within that little network. But, yeah, basically, if you don't have the Apple TV, but you've got an adapter, you can do it this way. Do your presentation.
It's a lot less heavy to carry around in your pockets than a laptop.
Right. Get you, and hopefully they have a long enough cable. Yeah. Other questions? Okay. That's the Q&A for that session of presentations. What we'd like to step into now is we're going to talk about applications for new and those of you probably already have applications that you put on your iPad. I'm going to connect up here real quick. That's going to go drive everybody nuts. We still need a projector, don't we? It's going to keep switching on me, so. Okay, the part that I'm going to talk about is basically iWorks. It's what I put in my productivity area. These are some of the applications I have. These are the three that I will basically show you, just briefly. Pages, which is word processing. Keynote, I will show you some of the ups and downs of those features. What's nice about a lot of these is you can read spreadsheets out of Excel, you can read PowerPoints out of PowerPoint, and you can also read Word. So you send those documents to yourself in the email, you can drop them into any one of these applications and use them. First one is Numbers. Numbers is a spreadsheet application that you can go into. Of course, you can go in and you can create your spreadsheet. It gives you a selection of types and formats of spreadsheets that you could use if you like, or you can just go to the standard spreadsheet. And basically go from there. I'm going to go to that part. And it brings up your keypad, adding your numbers, adding your text. Let me see if I can find the text here. And that's basic standard functionality of it. course, you're working on glass and off your numeric keypad or your extended keyboard. Go back to spreadsheets. You can import spreadsheets. This one I just created. It's on a budget deal we're doing for our office. And we're just comparing years of actual to current. And then I can do a chart and show, this is kind of out of whack here, how things compare to last year, what we have, what we have left. So you can do some of that functionality.
Dennis, you would get, let's say, an Excel spreadsheet from Dropbox.
Yes.
And you can,
You can open it. What I'm going to show you here, well, yeah, basically, I'll take you back into where we're with this, and I'll get to that because I'm going to pull up something out of Dropbox here in a moment. Pages, I had that up here. The drawback to Pages is I imported this document from Word. Gave me all the tab features. Now, if anybody can tell me how to use the tab in Pages, I'd really like to know. Anybody? Because when I bring up my keyboard and I hit return, that's it. Now I've just got to type it down. So that's a drawback to Pages. We hope to see some improvements on that in the future. I think the external keyboard allows you to do that. I haven't used that where it'll have a tab. Key on it will allow you to tab through. There's external keyboards, all sorts. This gentleman here does it have a tab key?
Yes.
Okay. So
There is a way to tab.
external devices. There is.
I'll show you. It's not fun.
Oh, that's great.
So say I want to tab Apple TV over. I have to click that I button. So I have to click where I want to tab, click the I button, go to list, then I have to, it's not very fluid, is it? I mean, it'd be a whole lot nicer if it was already on the keyboard. But
Thank you, Matt.
there is a way to do it.
So how did you do that again? Can you do it one more time?
Sure, absolutely. So say I want to tab dosery over. Go click the I button at the top. Right?
The what button?
There's
What's the I button?
I button.
It actually has a little lowercase I. It just stands for information. If I click, it'll default to style, the list, see that arrow? It'll tab it over. And it'll allow me to do this. But it brings up an interesting point. If you're gonna write a 50-page paper, your iPad is probably not the best solution. If you're gonna modify a 50-page paper quickly, it's a very good solution because you can do it on a computer. Sorry.
Very much so. And also, where you have an external keyboard.
It works
do you,
on it.
do you do much as far as writing a lot of documents on yours?
No, but it's great for taking notes in
Okay.
a presentation, so that's what I use it for.
I'm going to step back out of this. You can see you've got various documents you can, I should come up the pole. I'm
Steal
on
it
you.
back from me.
Sorry, Matt. So you can have your library of documents here and go through them. We will show you a little bit later how you can take certain documents and start putting them on a shelf or in a book format where you can get to them. I want to step back out. That's Pages. We're kind of limited on time, so we want to make sure we cover everything. Keynote, as I showed you, you can pull up a keynote that you created. Simple enough, present with it. But making a keynote, there's still some functionality that, okay, I'll choose this one. When you're creating some stuff and getting your documents, allows me to change styles and options, but it's not as intuitive as you would think for creating your slides on it. That's why a lot of us create our slides on our desktop unit or our laptop, and then we'll send them in the mail, and we'll put them into another cloud format and pick it up and put it into Keynote. So there's some limitations with that, but it's a good functional tool, allows you to be very flexible with a lot of things. Those three things are the ones that I use the most, even though there are some limitations. It's very handy to have those three. They cost basically $10 a piece, so it's a $30 package. you're new to using it, it's definitely, I think, worth the investment. Now I'm gonna step aside. And go on to the next piece. Mary.
We're going to talk a little bit about some note-taking apps. And I think I'm going to share one. I do a lot of handwriting notes versus typing notes. And I'm going to show you Penultimate. And yesterday when we were testing this, I can go in and go on the Apple TV. And I just want to show you what's going to happen here. If I go into Penultimate here, it's just showing you that. It's not showing you what I have on my screen. I can open up one of my notebooks that I've created and open up a page, and it's going to show you that. If I start drawing on this page, it can show you that, but it's not showing you the rest of my screen. So what I'm going to do is connect up. So you're going to see me over here. Get this hooked up. So you can actually see how this works. Oops. You must stay in there. Maybe. Jumping around.
Trying to find it.
There it is. Okay. So now if you go in, you can actually see, whoop. You can actually see it. Let's do the same thing. Is it because I'm still on Apple TV?
Yeah, disconnect and reopen all.
Now I'm on iPad.
I have to close out of it.
Close out.
Close out of what?
I would say disconnect the Apple TV and go back.
I did. Oh. Yeah, sorry. Now let's try. Well, it's not cooperating with us today.
That's technology. Go ahead and look through once.
We tested this yesterday and it worked, but I'm not sure why it's doing this now. Yep. Oh, well. Well, I
She's
like
talking
it. I like it because you can't see this, of course, but it lets me choose different types of paper, and I can erase, I can cut and paste things, I can completely clear a page. It's not, it's not cooperative. Does anyone else use Penultimate? You familiar with it? You like it? Yeah. Yeah, I use it all the time. And it also lets you add pictures from your library. And you can put a picture on a page and write over it, annotate it and stuff, so. Well, this is annoying.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and unplug it.
Does it convert to text? Will it convert your writing to text?
No, it is not, it's not, I think Michael's gonna show you one that is, does the one you're gonna do show that? It doesn't, okay.
Are there out there?
There are other
Okay.
note-taking apps out there that will convert your text. This one, I'm a graphic designer, so I like scribbling, and then I can send these to myself, email them, the whole notebook or individual pages, to email them to myself, or, so that's why I like it. I can also take, they show up as little notebooks. You can name them for different meetings and stuff that you're at. And then I can open up a page from one notebook and go and insert it into another notebook. So I wish I could show you that, but it's being temperamental today. Maybe at one of our iPad meetings that we can get it working. Yes?
What you described sounds almost exactly like an app I use called Note Shelf. Do you know the distinction between the two?
I think Note Shelf has a lot more features in it than Penultimate does. Penultimate's pretty bare bones, just lets you, take notes and do some real basic, erasing and adding a picture and stuff. Note Shelf, I have it, but I haven't used it a lot. It has a lot of other features in it, but I couldn't speak to those right now.
Thank you.
So Mary, when you send that, those notes to yourself, what do you need on your computer in order to open that? Is it
It
just an
saves them
image
as a
file?
PDF file.
Oh, okay.
Let's see if this comes out. Okay, I don't use this, but somebody mentioned handwriting recognition on using it. Basically, there is one, it's called WritePad. It should send it there. Put the text in, so you can do some writing with it. So there are some of those out there. There's more and more of them. Okay, Michael?
I have used the WritePad some, and it's fine also. The application I'm going to show you is actually, I'm going to come on this side, I think, is actually called NoteTaker HD. And it looks like we're going to have the same problem there. I thought we tried it the other day and it worked fine also. It's not going to show the whole screen, just like what we saw with the last application. But on this side over here, you can see that I can go ahead and just write text on it. And I'll go ahead and hook up here so hopefully maybe you can see the whole screen. No, I guess maybe we're just gonna fail with this. We're gonna do the same thing exactly. So I guess we're gonna do it the old-fashioned way. And I'm gonna show you. At the bottom here, you can see this kind of square at the bottom, and that's where you can actually put your handwriting in. And as you put your handwriting in, then it actually then puts your writing at the top. This is your page. And as you go along, you can press the enter button to advance down, but this is how I take most of my notes. You can store the note then, and open it up. You can, again, save it as a PDF. You can send it to yourself. You can email to yourself, things like that. One of the reasons I like this so well is that it gives you a place to write. When you write in this bottom here, your hand's not resting on the screen. So many note takers, if you rest your hand on the screen, then it starts making marks on your page because it recognizes your hand resting there. So that's why I like this one. This one is called NoteTaker HD. And let's see if I can get back on. Who has the TV? Mary, you? Okay, I got it. I'll take the Apple TV back for just a minute. NoteTaker HD you can get from the App Store, and I think it's a $5 app, I think. I had it pulled up here somewhere. Yeah, it's a $4.99 app that you can get out of the App Store, and I like it real well. So that's my demo. Yes, yes.
A great advantage of that, I have that too, and I use pick with Nutshell, but you can pull in a PD app and
That's right.
annotate on it,
That's
where
right.
you can't on Nutshell, and
That's right.
probably not on.
Yes. Yes.
So if you have an
Very good point.
agenda or something like that, you can pull that out.
Very good point. And also with Note Taker HT, you can pull in shapes, you can pull in pictures, you can pull in all kinds of things onto the pad. And I wish we could demo it, but that's some of the limitation of the iPad apparently, and the app is not mirroring the whole screen. So, question over here.
Well, I was just gonna say, I noticed, I think on your computer, you have Evernote, I use Evernote a lot.
Yes. Yep. That's another one I've tried.
I have it on my computer at work, my Evernote, have it on my computer at home, and then my iPod Touch,
Mm-hmm.
which then saves you the problem of having to email things to yourself.
Yes.
And you can put pictures in, unless for maybe that's the papers, but you get a lot with the free apps, PDFs, and I use it a lot.
Right.
It's a really good.
Yeah. So Evernote's another good app. Are we showing Evernote today? Did we
We
just
were gonna mention it, we were not gonna show it. Did you wanna show it now?
No, I don't use it proficiently enough to demo it, but the nice thing about it is Evernote then has that central store for files, so you don't have to worry about sending emails or sending the files back and forth. Central store, you can access them from different devices, so, yeah, it's a good program too. So.
And is PDF the only format that the notes are saved in, or do you have a choice of different formats?
Generally, PDF is, I think, the most often format because it's so universally recognized, so.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Matt's gonna show us something a little cheaper.
Well, yeah. Don't forget this one. It's built in. See, every iPad comes default with notes. So it's cheap, it's free, it's easy, it works right there. You cannot write on it, but you can type on it. And with iOS 5, you can use the split keyboard. Makes it so much nicer to type, almost like you're typing on an iPhone or a mobile phone. So you can do this. You can email it to yourself, whatever the text is, and send it off as your notes. So, I mean, you can, Dennis, if I need minutes or something like that for another meeting. So, don't forget that one. So I'm just going to throw that one out. So,
Okay.
Could I ask, how did you get the split keyboard?
absolutely. So if I go back in here,
You have to have iOS 5.
you have to have iOS 5, so that's, but everything, the iPad 1 and 2 can do it. That button right there, notice it's got little, like, 3 little things that look like it should be raised. If you just quickly grab it, you can move the stuff up. If you hold,
Okay, how did you do that to get it to move?
I'll show you here in a second. So by default, you see this keyboard, right? And that's your default keyboard. Notice these 3 little lines. They kind of look like they should be raised, it's like almost on a keyboard. If you quickly put your finger on it and move it, it will move the keyboard. If you press and hold the keyboard button, you can either dock and merge it, so it puts it back where it was. You can push and hold it and say undock, which just undocks it, or you can split it. That was one of the split, and that's split gives you. So,
You can also do it with your fingers.
yes.
Is there some way to move it while you're typing, because sometimes it gets in the way?
Oh, if you just,
I'm typing a whole lot.
if you're typing a lot and you want to get rid of it,
Make it go down a little bit further, so I guess I just need to let it down.
yeah. So you could.
And how did you do that?
All I'm doing is just pushing and dragging. Push and drag, kind of like using your finger. So you're just moving it around. So, but yeah, good point there. With the whole pinch, if I use my fingers, I can bring them together and split them apart.
One other brief one I want to mention before we move on to the next subject here is the notes that I use is a little bit interesting in the fact that they're audio notes. That basically keeps track. If I'm working on a presentation, and I've got all these other meetings that I've had with Catalyst, I just keep basic notes, but it also keeps the audio of that meeting. keeps them in segments of when I hit the return key. So like if I'm in application submitted, transfer, and I want to, well, let's go to cloud computing, let's find one here. Should have. Trying to find one that's not so confidential. May not have one. I'll do one for you. Basically, you can do your title. I can come in here. It's a hello. We'll do the recording. And now, as you can see from the green bar up at the top, and we also, that I'm talking with these notes. And then if I want to go to the spot where I want to stop, of course you'll see it time dates it. There's the next stop that I've done in my audio notes of what I've talked and what I've recorded. I can also go down a couple spots and say go to, and I can stop again. I don't know if you can hear this in here, but we can do a playback. What?
It's gonna shoot it to the Apple TV. Doesn't have audio.
I know, yeah, I wonder if it just, you could hear it from here. No, it's not gonna do it. But anyhow, I keep track of those and I can play those notes back to me. So I can actually record a meeting, take my notes, and go back and replay some of the things that I didn't, write down.
So what app is that?
This is called Audio Notes.
Audio notes, okay.
I think it was a $5 program also.
They have a light version that's free, so you can
Yep.
try it, but it only records, I think, 10 minutes worth of audio. So